So over the last few months, I've been chatting to some amazing innovators who you've been backing, whether it's been Virgin branded businesses like Virgin Hyperloop, Virgin Orbit, Virgin Galactic, or whether it's stuff like Agilyx or BMR. And I've just been so blown away by these people who are solving so many of the world's problems through their businesses. What spurred you on to sort of back these really innovative projects in the first place?
I mean, a lot of those projects are related to climate change, and climate change is arguably the biggest threat to mankind. And so having companies like Agilyx that take plastic and turn it into jet aviation fuel, it's the right thing to do. BMR Energy, they're trying to turn the Caribbean into being run by wind and solar that we have here. We've proven it works on Necker. Most of the new monies that we spend at Virgin are spent on investing in things that's going to make this world a better place and not a worse place. The price of fuel in the Caribbean is greater than almost anywhere else in the world, and therefore the sense of having solar and wind where the Caribbean's got plenty of it makes complete economic sense. What's exciting in countries like America, they're now producing clean energy fuel at less than 2 cents a kilowatt, which was costing, say, 24 cents only 5 years ago. This revolution in clean energy is just starting, and it's going to get faster and faster and faster.
And those innovators, those engineers making the battery technology better, coming up with all these new concepts.
Yeah, I mean, the battery technology is key, and it's the most difficult part of the equation. There are also people working on hydrogen, which could be, an alternative to battery storage. And that's where we need these wonderful innovators to try to work out what's the ultimate future for all of this.
One of the people I spoke to was Sarah Lushan from Hyperloop. Now, that is a completely new mode of transportation, so futuristic, and it's got zero direct carbon production on its own. Why do you think things like that are so important, and why do you think we have to really think big about new transportation systems?
Obviously, we have a number of polluting companies in Virgin. In time, hopefully, most of them we can make them not polluting. But in the meantime, we need to invest our money in areas where we can sort of counterbalance the ones that are doing damage. So something like Virgin Hyperloop, by transporting people, for instance, between Heathrow, Stansted and Gatwick at rapid speeds, straight to the gates in their pods with their luggage, that could stop the need for another runway, another airport. And because it's going to be powered by solar, it's definitely the future.
And it is so futuristic looking at the video of Hyperloop and what it's going to do in the future. For anyone that hasn't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's literally amazing watching these pods flying off to the different places that they need to get to, and just so wonderful to think that there's no carbon produced. So we had quite a lot of excitement when it comes to space this year. You made it to space on Virgin Galactic. We've also sent 2 of our rockets with Virgin Orbit into orbit this year as well. And what's really exciting is they're sending small satellites into space. And I think when people think about small satellites, they often think about telecommunication and making sure that people can communicate with each other better. But can you explain a few of the other really important things that small satellites can do?
The exciting thing about Virgin Orbit is that we can launch from a 747 into any orbit anywhere in the world, and in the not too distant future, within 24 hours. Every satellite up there in low Earth orbit will drop out of space every 5 years. So, if you're watching the television and the satellite drops up and burns out, you want it replaced in 24 hours. And that's what we've designed Virgin Orbit to do. But there are enormous amounts of other uses, checking on ice melting, checking on the state of crops, checking on illegal fishing, checking on degradation of forests or illegal logging, checking on the state of climate change, checking on ozone layer. Virgin Orbit's going to play a big role in all these areas. We as a family, with our wonderful Jean Orwang, who runs our foundation, have been talking about the planetary boundaries and how can we help a wonderful team of people who are working on the planetary boundaries, map out the planetary boundaries every year. You know, what's happening with climate change, what's happening with the oceans, what's happening with the forests, and you know, if one knows every year whether it's going backwards or forwards, then it's easier to do something about it. If you don't know, and there's a wonderful man called Johan Rosten who we're hoping to work with and make sure that the direction of all these planetary boundaries starts to be a positive one. And it has to be a positive one quickly. People need to realise that the world is in such dire straits right now. Greenland's ice caps are melting at a rapid rate, that we have got to keep all options open if we're to be sure that in 50 years' time or 100 years' time that we're not underwater. Entrepreneurs can play a big role in turning the tide back.